Yes.
Who saw before? You saw before?
I saw a different movie, but I have a different movie, but
Okay, and how, what, was it okay for you to read the subtitles?
yeah.
Was it comfortable? Could you understand everything?
Yeah.
Does anybody think that we missed something important? Okay, good. So now we can discuss it a little bit. So tell me, I would like to hear, what did you learn after you saw this movie?
Hard was bullying, like clicking on the head.
Can you please speak a little bit louder?
Hard was bullying, like clicking someone on the head can lead to like what happened to Ronnie in the movie. That like it can lead to anything, like death or
Right.
get hurt.
I mean, maybe, let's say, you can know where it starts, but you can never know where it will end, right? So it's very, very dangerous. Some things that you didn't mean that will happen can happen. And terrible things can happen. Okay? What else did you learn? Yes, please.
Don't bully.
Excuse me?
Don't bully.
To be a tough bully?
Don't bully.
Don't bully.
bully.
Right, don't bully. Right. That's the conclusion. What else? What about, let's think all of us, okay, that now we are Doron, okay? Let's assume that we are Doron. So what would you do if you were instead of Doron in the situation that he was? Yes.
I would tell somebody and not keep it a secret till the first time happened or go to the principal or the teacher.
Right. You would tell somebody, like principal or teacher. Who else?
Parents.
Parents? Good. What would you do? Police is a possibility. Okay? But all of you wanted to say something, so why don't you say? Because she said what you wanted to say? Is that why?
Yes.
Yeah? Okay. So that's a very right conclusion. If I was Doron, I had to tell it, I would tell it to the principal, I would tell it to my parents, to the teacher, to anyone that can help, right? And if you were, let's say, who was Einat? Do you remember Einat? Einat from the movie? Who was it? Who was her?
He was his girlfriend.
She was his girlfriend. She was a friend of him, right? So, if we were Einat, what would we do different? Yes.
To tell his parents and stuff.
To tell his parents. Who else?
Teachers.
Teachers.
Other people just tell.
Right. See, always the same conclusion. Same like if we were Doron. Okay? And let's assume that we were Amir now. Okay? Who can tell me why did Amir do what he did? Yes, please.
Because he was jealous of, if Amir would ask Duran to come over, Duran would say no, and if Duran would ask Amir to come over, he would return the no.
But why did he want to be so close to Doron? But because he said before that he was never a close friend of Doron. Why did he want to be so close to Doron? Yes.
Because his dad didn't care about him, and his dad cared about Duran, and he thought that...
Doron's dad was care about Doron. Yeah.
Duran. And he thought Duran's dad would like care about him too, so maybe a little.
Maybe let's say that he was jealous a little bit. He was jealous. He wanted his father to
be like his Duran.
Right. No, I don't think that he wanted Doron's father to take care of him. I think he wanted that his father will be like Doron's father, right? So Amir problem is very clear. All of us could understand what was Amir's problem, right? So if you had the same problem, what would you do? I mean, if you had the same problem, like if I'm Amir and my father he doesn't care about me and I want more attention, for example, what would I do? What would I do? Yes, please.
Ask to spend more time with him.
Ask to spend more time with him, right? Ask whom? To ask his father to tell him that he would like to spend more time with him. Actually, we saw that Amir never asked his father to spend more time with him. He never told his father that he has a problem, that he wants his father's attention. tension. So his father had to be more sensitive, but if he wasn't, Amir could tell him. Because we saw that Amir's father was not such a bad guy, because in the end, do you remember what he said in the court? Do you remember that he cried? Do you remember that Amir's father cried? And he wanted the second chance, but it was too late. So if Amir could just let his father know, everything could be different. And let's say that sometimes it's a little bit difficult for someone to talk like that to his parents. Amir had other options. Like what? What option did Amir have? Yeah. Skiing? Yeah, but what option, like, to talk about the problem? With whom?
His mother or someone that's close to him, like a family member.
Okay, and who else?
Good answer.
Excuse me?
He could talk to like his dad and his friends.
Yes, that's what he said. And who else? What, for example, if you would go to the counselor, to the counselor, and would tell about the problem, could it help?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure. Because the counselor, she could think what to do, and she could discuss with his father, and she could, or parents, and she could tell them what Amir needs, and for sure, his parents would give him what he needs. Right? Do you agree with me?
Yes.
So, actually what you all said and what we all learned is that if we find ourselves once in a situation like one of these characters, like Einat, like Amir, like Doron, the best thing to do is to talk. The best thing to do is to tell the problem to other people, to people that can help us, to the principal, to the teacher, to the counselor, to our parents. It's very easy. So we should just talk and talk and talk, and to be more open with our problems. Okay? Do you want to ask me some questions about the movie? Yes, please.
Did that really happen?
No, it didn't really happen. This story, exactly as it is, didn't really happen. But bullying is something that happens everywhere, all the time, in that version or other. Yes, please.
Is that your really son? Is that your son?
Doron?
Yeah.
No, Doron is not my son in the reality. But my son was in this movie, but he just once walked in the street. He was 5 years old. You cannot recognize, I mean, I cannot tell you exactly where he was. Yes, please.
Did it take a long time to make that movie?
It took 3 years.
3 years.
3 years since my decision, since I started to write the script, until the first time I screened it. Yes, it's a lot of work.
Why did it have to be in Why did it have to be in a different language?
Why it had to be in a different language? Well, actually, for me, it's not a different language. That is my language, because I come from Israel.
But do you live here now?
No, I live in Israel. We came specially for these 2 weeks to screen it in front of children in the United States. So this is our language. But we made some subtitles for you, so I will be able to screen it to you, and that you can enjoy the movie and learn from it. Any more questions? Do you want to ask Yossi something?
Everything's clear.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
You go outside if you want to now.